Okay, so you saw the video that I put up where I was talking about a lot to do with who was who. And you saw that me talk about Zach and that he had interviewed a hotel employee, but we wasn't sure, well, I wasn't sure at the time who. I managed to find a live where Zach talks about who he did those interviews with. He says that, obviously you'll see, but he says the security guard, he tried and tried to get him. He agreed to do an interview, then he didn't agree, then he agreed. He was acting funny. He was acting scared. He was acting shifty when it came to interviewing him. But interestingly enough, the person who he interviews is the manager. And we know, I don't need to explain how shifty this guy is. I don't need to say anything about how this guy has been acting. You all know. Okay, but I still want you to keep an open mind and see it correctly. I don't want there to be any opinions that are misguided. But what I'm saying is, there's a connection. Like I said before, there's a connection between some of the party guests and the employees, I believe. You'll hear, if you haven't already, how, go and watch my video where I show you the security guard when he knocks on the door, how he speaks. And you'll hear they're communicating with each other. There's no hostility at all. In fact, they're joking.
My car keys, my weed. That ain't no motherfucking manager. Oh, it is a manager. It is a manager. Shit. On Biddy. Oh.
Okay. Listen to this live. Listen to how he says the manager addresses him and how he tries to confuse what he's saying to go with the narrative that he said to make it look like what he has said is truthful. The way that he is explaining how the manager spoke to him, in my opinion, is he's twisting his words to make it fit. Have a listen.
Inconclusive twice. I called the guys. They said we don't see anything wrong with her body. We don't, you know what I'm saying? We can't come up with the cause of death. I never voiced my opinion, but I personally think it's bullshit. I don't think that shorty, I'm not gonna call it shorty, I don't think Kenneka Jenkins walked into the freezer. I've been to the Crown Plaza. They told me if I come again, they're gonna have me arrested for trespassing. I got some of the top lawyers in the country. So I'm like, yo, is you serious? Like, I'm a journalist. This is what I do. You understand what I'm saying? They really don't want me to expose the hotel. These is all facts. These are all facts. They don't want me to like, I had an interview with the security guard that worked what was his shift? 11 to 7. So he worked 11 to 7 on September 8th, 2007. That Friday going into that Saturday. I got pictures of him. I really did a top-notch investigation. I got pictures of him and everything. At first, he agreed. At first, he was like, nah, I'm not doing an interview with nobody. I didn't speak to WGN. I didn't speak to any news stations. I'm not speaking with you. That's fine. Okay. I said, if you have nothing to hide, you'll do an interview with Zach TV. Because the people that was inside the room with Kenneka Jenkins that was on Facebook Live, they did an interview with Zach TV. Why wouldn't you do an interview? Do you have something to hide? So he say, okay, I agree. After 2 or 3 days, he like, okay, I'll do it. Then when it was time for the interview, he stopped answering his phone, stopped replying to text messages. I sent him an email. It's crazy. I did conduct an interview with a manager of the hotel. His shift was 11 to 7 at night as well. That's kind of weird. His interview is kind of weird. Like, he was basically ducking my questions. I asked him something, he'll try to reiterate it. You know what I'm saying? That furthermore shows me you guys have something to hide. Like, why aren't you giving me any straight answers? Like, what's up? What's going on? The case is just, it's crazy. Once I get to say so, guys, I promise to God, I'm telling y'all,
So that's what I'm trying to say. I believe this is the link. I also still feel that Mr. Holmes is still connected to this. I do feel that there's some link between gang affiliation, as he does work, as I showed you, with the FBI and the police, with gangs, with the streets, to try and clean what he says the streets up, is what he's saying. But we've heard this all before when other police officers, other activists have been corrupt and using their position to make money and to gain through corruption. But what I'm trying to say is I feel that this is the link. Remember when I showed you the footage of Killer going, this is the time where Killer was found to go, come out of the lower level elevators. We don't see and catch him on the next camera. But at the same time, the security guard leaves the desk on the lobby level. At the same time, goes in the same direction as Killer, as if they're meeting up at a point. And he also leaves at the same time when Killer goes back to the elevators and goes back up to where he's going. And I said, I believe they're meeting in the stairwell. The lower level elevator footage where Killer comes down at 4:19 isn't caught on the lower level stairs camera, but goes back to the elevators as if he's walked back from somewhere, and then it comes back down at 4:32, I think. That bit was very suspicious of, so I thought, let me have a look and see what's going on. A few walkthroughs that people did, I did find some exits near those elevators. There's one to the left and there's one to the right. The one to the left, as if you was walking away from the elevators, I believe that could be to some stairs. You have to remember that where there is elevators, you have to have stairs for fire safety reasons. Remember, this is the same time that Killer comes out of the elevators on the lower level and is not caught on the next camera. I feel that they've gone into either the stairwell or that hall, one of those exits that cannot, you won't, there's no footage. He isn't caught on that camera, and the security guard goes over in that direction and comes back at the same time that he comes back and goes back in the elevators to go back up. It's too sync to me. The security is suspect and Killer is suspect. Think about it. The security leaves 4 days after. Even the little time extra it takes for the security guard to get back to the desk is just that little bit of time he has to walk up and down the stairs. So it's all coming together now. Even the security guard's statement, it's like he's playing games. He didn't want to log this situation write it down into the system where things happen, bad things happen in the hotel. They have to write it down, log it down. He didn't think it was serious enough. And then when the police officer asked him what is serious, he didn't reply. He knew that they were smoking and drinking in that room. Did nothing. Do you understand? Like he said, oh, I'm leaving. I'm going to be leaving in 4 days. Then there's all these shifty movements and actions behind the desk. I'm going to put all of that at the end so you can just watch it and see how fidgety and obviously corrupt this guy is for whatever reason, for whatever he knows. And I also believe the woman behind the desk with him knows something also.